If I take another one down, I'm gonna drown in some poison. I'm reaching my limit. Hey guys, this is me, Review Hunter here, reviewing the Kendrick Lamar album, To Pimp a Butterfly. That's right, it's Review Hunter. I normally talk about anime and manga, but as you can see, I am a black man and I do listen to much hip hop. And right now, Kendrick Lamar is leading the way. The judge make time, referring to the judge in a court of law. So it really shouldn't be nothing for us to come out here to enjoy this music on Review Hunter's channel. It really shouldn't be. Kendrick is definitely doing good things right now. I'm not sure that my peers will really appreciate this album, but so far it seems as though they do. I really don't think this album has any kind of radio value, commercial value, outside of Alright, that one track that kind of sounds a little trappish, but everything else is really playing on the classical African-American music, jazz and the funk and all of those other forms of black music that have almost been forgotten, that are black music. Kendrick is bringing them all back together in this album. So let me take a look here at my iTunes page. Wesley's Theory, George Clinton on this track. And George Clinton is the guy who did that song. You know that song? You remember the Good Burger song? Yeah, that song. He brought him back for free. I mean, baby, you really think we can make a baby without a Mercedes sitting on 24-inch rims with 4% tint and air conditioner vents? No, he doesn't think you can do that. So that's for free. It's more like a poem, really. King Kunta, yeah, I'm not really feeling King Kunta as much as a lot of people saying they are. I don't know. The beat is just, what's the yams? I don't like yams. So, but I understand what he's doing within the context of the album. Institutionalized. I really love this. This is one of my favorite tracks on this album, guys, to be honest with you. I'm gonna jam out to this for a little bit. I'm gonna stop right there because you know what happens when you get lyrics in this bad boy. You get that copyright strike, and I'm not ready for that. These walls, I really feel like the album really starts at Institutionalized and moves into These Walls. I don't really have that much to say about These Walls except that it's featuring Anna Wise, who is on that Untitled song that he did during the Colbert Report, which for some reason didn't make the album. And I can personally say it's better than some of the songs on the album, or at least as good as. And I really love that song. I really listened to that. I spammed that over and over again. Loving you is complicated. Loving you is complicated. That was dope. I really like that. If you really listen closely on this song, Kendrick is criticizing himself, and he's criticizing the things about himself that he hates, and it's really self-loathing. And at one point, he even talks about having thought about committing suicide. All right, you already know what it is.
All's my life I has to fight, nigga.
And I'm gonna leave that. Hopefully, I don't get copyright straightened just for that. Which I might. In which case, I might have to pull this down, guys. For sale. Yeah, for sale. That's for sale. I really like the way this one sounds, but for some reason... Oh yeah, there we go. This is the song where he goes in talking about Lucy, and which is like a clever metaphor for the devil. Lucy is the industry. Like he talked about in, I feel like his using Lucy as an example will play a little bit better than the direction that we heard from the Untitled song that he did on the Colbert Report, where he really pointed out the white man and said the white man was basically evil. And he said something like, what the white man say, a peace of mind. That's what the white man wanted when I rhyme, telling me that he's selling me just for $10.99. I go platinum for rapping, I do the company fine. What if I compromise? He said it don't even matter. $1 million or more, you're making better than average. You're losing your core follower, gaining it all. Put a price on my talent, I hit the bank and withdraw. Hit the bank and withdraw. Hit the bank and withdraw. I'm gonna make you some profits, is what he said to the boy. Or something like that. With For Sale, you hear a lot less criticism of the white man per se. You gotta really listen hard if you wanna really blame anything, particularly on the white man. On the album, you hear things like, the judge make time, referring to the judge in a court of law. So it really shouldn't be nothing for us to come out here to enjoy this music on Review Hunter's channel. It really shouldn't be. I think that it was better to talk about Lucy than, necessarily the white man. Because it's not always necessarily the white man. There's a lot of people who may be trying to profit off of him that aren't white. Hood politics. Hood politics. I like hood politics, but I really like Democrats and Republicans. All right? John Boehner is a Republican. Obama is a Democrat. A Democrat versus Republicans. I can see this with the whole dysfunction in the Congress and everything that's going on. Obama said what it do, but he's not throwing up West Side. Maybe he's throwing up Chicago or Hawaii or something like that. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's what it do. How much a dollar cost? You never know. That homeless person sitting there that you don't want to help, that person could be God. And, it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a poor man. It's something to do with the eye of a needle or something like that. That's how difficult it is for a rich man to get into heaven. So yeah, you shouldn't be selfish. You think about others, Complexion. Oh my goodness. Complexion is one of my favorite tracks, and actually it's not because of Kendrick. You already know the reason why I'm liking Complexion.
Excuse me on my Tupac. Keep your head up, when did you stop? Love and die.
Color of your skin, color of your eyes. Rhapsody killed it in this. So you know what? Then you see Black of the Berry here. Black of the Berry bars. So no matter how much I say I like to preach with the Panthers or tell Georgia State Marcus Garvey got all the answers, or celebrate February like it's my B-Day, or eat watermelon, Kool-Aid, and chicken on weekdays, or jump high enough to get Michael Jordan endorsements, or watch BET because urban support is important. You know it. You know it. So he's talking about how the black community can be a bit hypocritical, which is actually a very good point. From my personal experiences, black people do come together, like most Americans, around tragedy. We can, and even in my personal life and my family, we come together around tragedy and common feeling of being discriminated against or being attacked, like the rally around the flag effect, like after 9/11, But as soon as a little bit of time gets away from the incident that we all have a common cause for, like Trayvon Martin's death, for instance, then we're back to this crabs in a barrel kind of mentality. And it's not just black people, it's America, with the Democrats versus the Republicans, when we should all be underneath one gang of peace and love, under one flag, united. regardless of the differences between our gods or whatever color, race, creed, all that, we're Americans. At the end of the day, we're all African Americans in the black community, and we should come together. But Kendrick's perspective, which is a lot of people didn't understand with this Rolling Stone interview that he did, he's coming from a very unique perspective. He's like a special interest group or something like that. His special interest is gang violence. His best friend's younger brother was murdered as a consequence of gang violence. All right? A lot of you guys out there haven't experienced any gang violence, especially the most vocal ones on the internet. You know, you're not like Kendrick and myself. You haven't seen people pull up with the guns drawn, do. You haven't seen it. It's terrifying. And, you know, witnessing someone being shot is not something that you can really ever truly forget. So Kendrick is speaking from that perspective when he talks about the black community being a bunch of hypocrites, because as soon as the rally around the flag effect disappears, you know, we like to think about, you know, all of the things that have been done to us by the American culture, you know, the oppression and everything, and discrimination and the use of force by police. And we say we don't take any responsibility. And Kendrick feels like in order for things to get better, we have to change, we have to unify, you know. And I do agree with that. We have to unify, and then we can work together to get the world to respect us as human beings. But while we're running around shooting and killing each other, people will only use that and say, look, they're killing each other anyway. How many blacks people died in Chicago? How many blacks died in Chicago? Tell me that. How come you're not down in Chicago, Al Sharpton? Even though he actually is. But, you know, that's what we're giving them an excuse to say that our black lives don't really matter. But I'm not going to go too much into politics here, even though this album is very political. We got to unify. We got to unify. And, you know, you ain't got to lie to kick it, my guy. You ain't got to lie. You ain't got to lie. You ain't got to lie to kick it. You ain't got to try so hard. You know, that's what this song, You Ain't Gotta Lie, is about. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And you must know that I love myself. And he goes into the origin of the word Negus, which is an Ethiopian king. So, you know, he tries to explain the N-word, you know, in the best way that he can. And Mortal Man, that infamous Tupac interview, you know, it's gonna be straight murder. You know, that part really sent chills down my down my spine, you know. That was very interesting. And Michael Jackson gave us Billie Jean. You say he touched those kids? How many leaders did you say you needed? And then when it hit the fan, you discarded them like a piece of trash. Like a piece of trash. So Kendrick is saying if he's going to be the leader of this army, we have to see him, you know, and be true to our fandom no matter what happens. If he were to die tomorrow, if those 25 years were to occur, and he got set up by the government or whatever it may be, we got to ride or die with my boy, Mr. Lamar, Mr. Duckworth. We riding. And so, you know, these are my thoughts on the album, guys. Really, this is just my little bit as Review Hunter. I tried to do a little bit of comedy here, a little bit of social commentary here. So, you know what? It is what it is, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and say, for me, this album is a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, a million out of 10, a trillion out of 10. This album is crazy, and if you ain't listening to it, you might be crazier than this album, or just a hater, or just one of those people that just want to listen to trap music all day, right? You know, you just want to listen to songs where you can just do like this all day so you can feel cool, you know? But Kendrick is trying to use this. He's trying to get you to use this a little bit more. You got to stop and you got to listen. You got to listen to the whole thing. You can't just get little one album so you can cook or so you can finger snap, or so you can two-step, or so you can do the nay-nay, or whatever they're doing these days. You gotta listen with your mind. Stimulate your mind, man, with Mr. Lamar. And so this has been Review Hunter, signing off.